right, welcome to My Life in Albums. All right, so we're gonna get started. We've got our fishbowl here, and we're just gonna pick out a song. Ooh, picked out two. All right, so first one, Money Trees, Kendrick Lamar, Good Kid, Mad City. All right, so this brings me back to when I was, one of the times that I was super broke. There's been a few. But I was trying to save money for my own place. I had just moved back from Austin, being like independent on my own, well, like with roommates. And then I had to move back into my mom's crib. So embarrassing. But yeah, the house was super cramped. You know, I got my mom, her boyfriend, their animals, my brother's there. I was going fucking crazy. And yeah, I was trying to get out of there as soon as possible. But yeah, I was working at HEB at the time, and you know, money was like okay, but not like apartment ready money, not rent ready money. And so I needed like another source of income. So I was Ubering and favoring my life away. Literally from the crack of dawn, I would go out when I wasn't working at HEB. I would go out and Uber and favor all freaking day and bust my ass trying to make, I think my goal at the time was like $100 a day, because I just thought like, you know, I could reach my goal a little bit faster that way. And yeah, so that's what that song reminds me of, just hustling and grinding my life away. All right, so let's do our second one. Actually, let me take that one out of the bowl so I don't pick it again. All right, cool. All right, so second one is, that's crazy. New Apartment by Ari Lennox. That's crazy how that lined up like that. So, if you couldn't tell, that's when I got my first new apartment, my solo apartment. Now, this is very important because I had never lived by myself before. And yeah, so I saved up enough money to get out of my mom's crib. I think I had saved up like $5,000 at the time. And so that was enough for me to get like the deposit and first month's rent and like a few little things that I needed for my space. I didn't have no TV. I didn't have a bed frame. I don't even think I had a bed. But, you know, it doesn't matter at that point. You just want to get the hell out of your mom's house. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's what that reminds me of, getting my new place. So, yeah. All right, next one. Oof. I think I dropped one down here. All right, so the next one is, Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners on their Lossless album. So this one's kind of random, but my family, this is kind of like my family song. We all used to like get together and dance to this one for some reason. The Come On Eileen, oh I swear, baby. I don't know the lyrics, but yeah, we would like all get together and dance. So it just makes me think of my family. Okay, next one. Alrighty, so I've got, so this one is Free Fall by Kaytranada off of his Bubba album. So this is a recent one, and this one I'm still, this situation I'm still processing. I recently lost one of my loved ones, a family friend that had been in our lives since I was 4. I'm 30 now, so, you know, do the math. And yeah, he just was such a really important person in my life. He was my mom's best friend. He got me like my first 2 CDs, and just was always there and just very caring and loving. And yeah, still kind of processing that right now. But yeah, that song, I like the day that he died, or I found out that he died, I just like played that on repeat like all day, and I was like driving around and crying and stuff. So that brings me back to that time. Yeah. All right, let's move on from that one. Okay, so we have, that's crazy. Okay, so this one, it's 2 albums on one, because they kind of came at the same time, which is crazy. It just came after the one I just pulled. So Infinity on High and A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Infinity on High is by Fall Out Boy, and then A Fever You Can't Sweat Out is by Panic at the Disco. And these were the first 2 CDs that I ever got from Robert, the person I just was talking about, that I lost. But yeah, these were so important to me. Like, the Fall Out Boy album in particular, like anytime I have a really long drive, I know this album so well, I can like sing it to myself, like from the like intro all the way down to like the outro of the album. It's so crazy. But yeah, I do that to like keep myself awake and stuff. So shout out Fall Out Boy. Please put me in a video, something. I'll be a table, whatever you want. All right. Okay, so this one, Too Fast by Sonder on the Into album. So at this time, I was like transitioning into a different stage in my life. I had just had a breakup with this guy I met on OkCupid, which yeah, sounds like a bunch of crap. But yeah, I was working at a coffee shop at the time, and I just wanted better for myself. I wanted a better job. I was tired of coming home covered in like coffee grinds and just like working like low paying jobs and feeling like crap about myself. And so I remember I like found this song, and just like the lyrics to it, like let me look them up really quick. The part where he says, "Living at the speed of light like a bullet, I could be dead by the morning. I can't call it." So that really spoke to me at the time, because I just was like, oh my gosh, I'm like crying over this lame ass dude working at this lame ass job. Like, I need to get over it. I could be dead by tomorrow. And so that really, I started getting into like affirmations and stuff, and just speaking more life over myself. And I like was determined to get like a really, really nice job. And so I started applying to like all these like different like 5-star hotels, or you know, highly rated places. And yeah, I just was trying to like get out of that stage. So it was just like, I could be dead by tomorrow, like pick up the pace a little bit. Yeah. Alrighty, so our next one is, ooh, okay. This is the entire Anti album by Rihanna. This was such a happy time in my life. I'm trying to remember, what year did that come out? Anyways, that was such a happy year for me. Yeah, so this was when I lived in Austin with my 2 other roommates. One of my best friends that I'm still best friends with till this day. We met in like, when did we meet? In 6th grade, and I have known her ever since. Again, I am 30. And yeah, so we were all living together. We were at this place that we nicknamed Mountain Roach. I will not give you the actual name, but we called it Mountain Roach because it was infested with roaches. And I swear this was a happy time in my life though. But yeah, it was our first like place together, and it was just fun. We were just partying, going to school. I worked like 11 jobs. I did favor. I worked at a restaurant, and I was going to school at the time as well. No, wait. I worked at I did favor. I worked at the coffee shop, and then yeah, I was going to school full time as well. And yeah, it was really crazy. You know, just out every night with my friends, getting like super turned and drunk, and going back into work at like 4 a.m. the next day. You know, fine, just perfectly fine. But yeah, that was so fun. I love that entire album, still do. All right, so the next one is Make Friends and Everything is Beautiful on Love Heart Cheat Code by Hiatus Coyote. And this was like a current one for me right now. So Make Friends, I love that song because this stage of my life, I feel like I'm really starting to value my friendships and put a lot more effort into like nurturing those and just hanging out with people. Cause like, you know, you don't have to go through stuff alone. You know, your friends can really like turn around your day, currently I'm just starting to realize how important friendships are, and like, you know, keeping you like emotionally like well-rounded, and putting you on, you know, they're great for like networking and just everything. They're just everything. So yeah. Alrighty, so our next one is DNA and Element off of the Damn album by Kendrick Lamar. Love that album down. I really could put the whole album on there. But DNA and Element specifically, I feel like anytime I need like a pump to just like, you know, force myself to like work on like a project or something, or if I'm like not believing in myself, DNA especially, it's just really like speaking over yourself and like talking your shit. So yeah, sometimes you need to do that. And yeah. All right, so next one is Marcy Me and Family Feud off of Jay-Z. This was another couple of songs that I used to listen to on repeat when I was like Ubering and stuff. Marcy Me, specifically the video for Marcy Me, it's got like this little boy and he's in the hood. There are like helicopters circling around, and he's like going to the corner store to like pick something up. But you can see the neighborhood's a little rough, and it's just this like lonely little boy going to pick up, I think, like a pack of cigarettes or something. And it just reminded me a little bit of my upbringing, and how, you know, my surroundings, my family and stuff was a little bit rough. And I used to be really ashamed of it, but I kind of like grew to just start to think like it's not something that holds you back or that you have to hide or be ashamed of. Just like it says in the song, you know, just the way I am, always gonna be. Like, it's just, you know, my upbringing and my family dynamic and stuff, though it was rough, it's a part of who I am. And it's an extension, not like something that I need to hide from people. So that just is a reminder for me. But yeah, so we'll say that. Alrighty, so Nice and Ape Shit off of Beyonce and Jay-Z's album, The Carters. Oh my gosh, I still listen to this. Like, I feel like The Carters, that album is such a slept on album. Honestly, like, I could put the whole thing on there. But yeah, Nice and Ape Shit, anytime I want to like pop my stuff a little bit and, you know, pump myself up, like, I definitely listen to that. Like, Ape Shit, that or whatever. Okay, last one, Never Catch Me by Flying Lotus. This is such a good one. This is off of the You're Dead! Album. Yeah, so this was when my grandmother passed, and oh my gosh, all hell was breaking loose in my family. My family was like fighting over things in the will, and we were like in court, I think, for like 3 years. And yeah, it was just so much stuff going on that I couldn't even really like grieve my grandma's passing and stuff. And I just was all over the place, like really lost my shit. And yeah, and I think about like the lyrics of that song. And so some lyrics that really hit from that song was where he says, analyze my demise, I say I'm super anxious, recognize I deprive this feeling, then embrace it. Yeah, so when he says analyze my demise, I just thought of like, my grandma had so much potential, and she had so many different talents. You know, she was a great cook, she was hilarious, she could sew, she could build, she knew cars, like all of these great things, and she just let herself get like held back by the men in her life, and she never like really pursued her dreams. And I remember her telling me that she like wasted her life on a man, and this is when she was dying. And when I tell you, that hit me like in the chest, like, oh my goodness, I just was like, I can't go out, you know, and not have pursued anything that I was good at or interested in or just liked, you know, even on a surface level. And yeah, that really put a fire under my ass when when she said that. So yeah, but I was replaying that song like so much. It just talks a lot about death, and yeah, so that was helping me get through grieving. I still listen to it too if I feel like crying. So yeah, okay, that's my last one.